Let's talk unity. So Juneteenth is now a federal holiday. Okay. It's sort of the day that slavery ended. Okay, that's great. But it depends how it's framed. If Juneteenth is framed as, hey, slavery was bad, we ended it, awesome. The Emancipation Proclamation is an amazing document. It's the great fulfillment of the ideals of the Declaration of Independence. And now we're all free and we can put that ugly history behind us. Awesome, wonderful. Or is it like a black-only holiday used like look at this, white people. We used to be enslaved and oppressed by the white man, and we still are. Is that what it is? Because then we got a problem. You see the difference? And I don't trust the activists. They're going to take over Juneteenth and turn it into something that it doesn't need to be. I want to play this clip from Glenn Loury. Glenn Loury, professor at Brown University, obviously very against, well, I shouldn't say obviously if you don't know him, but very against all this critical race theory stuff. And he had this great comment about where this obsession with race will have to lead. Here you go.
They declare white people are going to be in a minority. What they haven't figured out is that if white people actually are a race, self-consciously thinking of themselves as a race, they're going to be the largest of the groups by far. Even when they're less than 50%, they're still 45%. Black people are 13% of the population. Latinos are 18% of the population. So do you really want that? And we had, Tucker and I, an extended discussion about why you don't really want to encourage a world in which white people come to think. You say they already do? No, they don't. At the fringes, they do. But ordinary Jane and Joe are not walking around thinking about themselves as I'm a white person, and what are white people's interests and so on.
This race game can only end one way. It's violence. The question is, who's on top, right? And here's my concern. The critical race theory activists, right, the fringe activists with the megaphones, if black power rises up, then the activists win. If white power rises up, then the activists win. You with me? These critical race theory activists, let me be more blunt. If black people rise up and kill white people, the activists win. If white people rise up and kill black people, the activists win. They get more power and prestige and money. The only way these race activists lose is if we ignore them and choose unity and peace. We should be very wary of listening to people who win when there's violence, no matter who's committing the violence. If they win when there's violence and lose when there's peace. Does that make sense? I want to propose an alternative here. We've talked a lot this week about that school district in New Jersey. They're just the first of many who decided to delete and cancel all the names of all the holidays. Every holiday is now just day off. Right? I mean, this is crazy. That's year zero stuff. It's the same thing as tearing down statues and canceling every beloved historical figure and cultural icon, Dr. Seuss, Johnny Appleseed, the Betsy Ross flag, you name it. We talked all about it all week. Now we're canceling all the holidays, just labeling them day off. But then they replace them with things, right? So Columbus Day it's now Indigenous Peoples Day, right? So Antonio Gramsci, the Marxist philosopher in the 1920s, he said the goal of a cultural revolution, a cultural Marxist revolution, isn't to flatten the culture, but to flip it. So you don't just make oppression go away, you make new oppressors. You don't get rid of Columbus Day, you replace it, you flip it with Indigenous Peoples Day. I saw just a statue, I don't even know what city it was in, but some city unveiled a statue of George Floyd. So we're tearing down statues of George Washington, we're putting up statues of George Floyd? It's like a proper statue, like he's on a bench, like hanging out, like, what are you told? You don't just get rid of the Declaration of Independence, 1776. You don't just get rid of that and make it neutral. You replace it with 1619, the real founding of America. Do you see how that flipping of everything all works? But in the end, it's all about division. So this felt really good. This is New York Islanders hockey game, packed house, Let's play it. It's worth sitting back and enjoying and taking in all of its patriotic goodness.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed? Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That's what I'm talking about. She was good, right? Loved that before. No frills, no over the top. She didn't give us a remix. I just play it straight. So if I put on my sociology hat, I saw a lot of tribalness there. But tribalness can be good, right? You see everyone there in the same uniform, wearing the same colors, singing the same national anthem in unison. These are good things. Sports simulate tribal warfare, right? You have an invading enemy, right? Who are they? The Bruins? They're playing the Bruins, right? So the Bruins coming into the Coliseum. It's literally called the Nassau Coliseum, fighting it out to determine the winner, and then everyone goes home safe at the end of the night, right? So it's a good, healthy, like cathartic thing that we have in our society. There's great joy that comes from the revelry and the unity of sports, which is simulated combat. And the progressive left, communists, hate it. They hate it. They watched that video and they saw, well, that wasn't diverse enough. Where was the pride flag? Right? Where was the trans flag? Where was the intersex flag? Where was the black national anthem? Why was everyone standing? Why weren't they kneeling? Don't you know about 400 years of genocide and slavery in the United States? That's what that flag represents. What about the apartheid state of Israel and why we support them and there's no justice for the Palestinians at this hockey game? For them, it's constant division. Remember, there's some sports teams that have gotten rid of their national anthem. No more national anthem. We're just not playing it anymore. And the social justice warriors, they say, great. First step. Great first step. Because they will surely replace it with something else. Because that's what they do. They're not about flattening the culture, they're about flipping it. I just want to play this here. This popped in my head on this topic. And I don't know what this moment, I don't know if this moment will be characterized as like a fever dream moment. Like, can you guys believe that we did that? Like if we come to our senses, we'll look back on this and be like, what were we thinking? Or this would be like the last moment of sanity that our country ever had. I don't know. Time will tell. This is Drew Brees, June 3rd, 2020.
Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about. And in many cases, it brings me to tears, thinking about all that has been sacrificed, not just those in the military, but for that matter, those throughout the civil rights movements of the 60s and everyone and all that has been endured by so many people up until this point. And is everything right with our country right now? No, it's not. We still have a long way to go. But I think what you do by standing there and showing respect to the flag with your hand over your heart is it shows unity. It shows that we are all in this together. We can all do better, and that we are all part of the solution.
Trouble for that. He even brought up civil rights but what was the problem? Unity. Can't have that. It's got to be division. This is that singer of the national anthem who, again, did a fantastic job. She says, I'm in this position that I have to bring people together. And I feel like I tie people together in America being the melting pot that it is. And the reaction I'm getting is that politics were not involved in this moment. It was like the anthem belongs to everyone. Whatever you feel, however you decide to vote, whatever you choose to do, it doesn't matter in that moment. And people have really been craving this feeling of unity and feeling of togetherness after everything that's happened in the past few years. Wonderful. Just wait for that poor woman to be canceled any day now. Moment of unity. Can't have that. Can't allow that. Things that transcend race and political allegiance? No. Burn her at the stake. No.
Wow. That was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like,
Subscribe. Get more.